This is Solo people, and welcome to the race review, the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. This is the race weekend review. This is where we're going to talk about all the race, all the qualifying, all practice, and we're going to put it all into one video instead of just doing multiple videos over the weekend, because obviously we've got football and we've got WWE wrestling. But this is the way it's going to be going forward. But now I'm going to bring in my co-Qs, my partner in crime. He's the co-owner of this channel. He's Toto Abba.
Yeah, big up, man.
How's it going, bro? How's it going? How was your weekend?
Weekend, standard really. Just chilling out, coming out from holiday. But yeah, overall, feeling well and keeping up with the Formula One stuff that the media's been saying about, especially McLaren. And yeah, they've been keeping up with news, football news, of course, Liverpool. And yeah, that's all.
So it was a brilliant weekend of sport. Liverpool FC obviously getting the win, absolutely destroying Man United, making Man United look like a Vauxhall Conference team, which they probably are at the moment, the way they played. And also a brilliant weekend for McLaren. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri getting number 2 and number 3. We'll talk about that news about the McLaren, about what came out today regarding who's going to be the main driver of the team. But yeah, it was a good weekend. I think it was a good practice session. Overall, really, there was only really testing the tires. Really, I think the main tire for the race was the hard tires, because obviously with the cars now, if you won't put a soft tire on this track, it's basically pointless. If you put a soft tire on this track, it's going to last about how long? I don't know. But we're going to talk about more of that on the debrief, which is 10 minutes long. But today we're going to talk about the weekend. What's your think about Lando Norris, man? Do you still think he's going to win the title?
I don't think he's going to win the title. Because
I do.
I'm only saying this because of how McLaren is acting like. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what the news what come out yesterday. Didn't you hear the news? Oh, you didn't hear the news, did you?
No,
There's news that come out today regarding that, say that they're going to make Lando Norris basically the main driver now.
So look, what I'm saying is that Lando's only going to win a title if the team's with him and if his teammates with him. Because these couple of races, Piastri is kind of thinking to himself, you know what I mean? Because Zach Brown always says we got 2 number 1 drivers, and Mark Webber is Piastri's agent, and Mark Webber did not like that number 2 driver name. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, look, what I'm saying is that
McLaren. Mark Webber. He has 0 pull. If McLaren says if McLaren decides to put Lando Norris as the main driver, there's nothing he can do. He's got 0 power in that team. But I know what you're saying though. With Mark Webber, you're on about multi 21, Seb. Multi 21.
He did not like that at all.
Yeah.
But look, Lando's only going to win a title with Piastri with him, and Piastri needs to start thinking for himself, because Piastri went for that reckless overtake. It was clean and fair. I give it him. It was a clean and fair overtake. It was a really, really good overtake. But if Lando wouldn't have braked, a split second, they would have both crashed, and then the double DNF maybe. Not a double DNF, but maybe. It could have been a 50% chance of double DNF if Lando didn't react. If Lando didn't react quickly and just a split second more, and he would have reacted, they would have both crashed. Of course, like what Lando did said in his interview as well. If we didn't,
we'll talk about that during the race. I know what you said. We'll talk about it when we go through the race review. But look, at the end of the day, right? You're on about the beginning of the race in that first corner. You mean?
Yeah.
I think it was brilliant racing by Oscar Piastri. I totally agree with you. He took his opportunity where it was presented to him. Look, like the famous Ayrton Senna said, if you're not going to go for a gap, you're no longer a racing driver. That's it. If you're not willing to go for no gap, get out the car, go home, and let someone else come along and do the job. That means you're no longer a racing driver. That's not my beef. My beef is not even with Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri is just doing what he's going to do. He's getting in the car and he's doing his thing. Good for him. Brilliant driver, future world champion. It's already on the bill, already set out for him. He's going to be a world champion standard. My beef is with the team now. The Silverstone race, I get it. Oscar Piastri got screwed in the pits. He was the first driver. They pitted him. Second, and Lando Norris gained position. I get it why they give the position back. I get that part. I know you wasn't really happy about that. I remember when we was debating about it, but I thought it was the right thing to do because at the end of the day, Oscar Piastri was in front. He was the main driver at that time at that race. But and obviously he gave the spot back. Lando said he was happy about it. Obviously, no racing driver is going to be happy with giving a spot back. No racing driver. I don't care what they say, how to act. Deep down in their guts, the racing drivers, they want to win every single race. My beef is with the team because now with the team is they should say, right, they want to win the constructors. I think basically they're going to win the constructors. I reckon that's already ready for them. The next race, if they win the next race, they'll go in front of Red Bull, right? My beef is with the team. They should say, right, Lando Norris is the main driver. Oscar Piastri is not winning no world title. He ain't winning no world title. We need that gap in between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. The gap can go. That could be Oscar Piastri. He could be the gap. They said at the beginning of the weekend, if Lando Norris wins every single race from the Italian Grand Prix to Abu Dhabi, and Verstappen comes second, Lando Norris will win the world title by 1 point. Now, the race what we're going to go through now, we know there was more of a one gap between them, so that basically helped Lando Norris. But if Lando Norris would have went in front of Oscar Piastri, that would have been more points. You get me? Now, there was a statement today from it was on TalkSport. I was listening to TalkSport today, and he said on TalkSport that McLaren are making a decision, and most likely they're going to make Lando Norris the main driver going forward to help him win the world title. And if you want Lando Norris to win the world title, which I do, and I think the majority of the F1, let's face it, Lando Norris is a popular driver. A lot of people like him, and I think people are sick of watching Max Verstappen win everything. And I think people want to see Lando Norris win the world title. I admit it. I want to see Lando Norris win the world title this year. And the only way that's going to happen if McLaren say, right, Lando's the main driver. They've done it in Ferrari. They've done it in Mercedes. They've done it in Red Bull. Why not in McLaren? What's your thoughts on that?
I know because Lando is the one who is fighting for the championship. You know, Piastri's like, he's not really fighting for the championship, is he? And they don't want to wait. They don't want to wait until it's mathematically impossible for Lando to win a championship. Lando needs as much racing as he can, right? Because, you know, Max, you know, scored a lot of points at the start of the season. And, of course, Lando getting a few DNFs as well, which really cost him. If he went for a DNFs, he would have been up there.
I still think he can do it, though.
He can still do it. That's
all the points he got. He got 11 more points in him.
He does, look. He needs Piastri with him. He needs a whole team with him. He needs to be the first driver. It's simple as that. He needs to act smart now because, 8 races to go of the season? There needs to be more smarter because, you know, next year there could be bad. The next year there could be good. You don't know Formula One. Anything can happen, right? They're not being smart. They're just being, you know, they haven't got the priority straight, basically. They haven't got the priority straight. They need to get the priority straight. Lando, first driver. Piastri, second driver. If Piastri's faster than Lando, and of course Piastri can go past, but Lando has something to blame for it as well. He shouldn't be filming his starts because his starts are still horrible. You know, he got a bad start. I think he bottled at the start and let Leclerc go past him as well. So, of course, McLaren got to blame for this one as well because I think if McLaren would have got a better weekend if they would have got the priority straight. They would have won this race today. They would have won it if they got the priority straight. That's just in my opinion.
I'm not sure about that.
But, you know, that's just in my opinion. But, of course, Ferrari had a really good strategy as well. Big up to Ferrari for that, man. They gambled and they got the strategy right. But if they had the priority straight, because Lando was losing a lot of time and he was driving with anger. In my opinion, he was driving with anger that race. You know, he's always coming off. He weren't really driving to his full speed, right? So you could also say that as well. So I think Lando Norris at the moment is driving angry, and that is not good between two teammates. You know, if he's angry at his teammate, was angry at the team. I don't know. Like, it's Lando Norris. I don't know what he thinks inside his head. But what I'm going with is that he's starting to fall out with the team because he knows this is probably, of course, he's a future world champion. He'll probably, look, we don't know what's going to happen next season to McLaren. So McLaren need to salvage as much as they can because you don't know what's going to happen next year. New teams might come up. You don't know, right? So they need to get the priority straight. Make Lando the first driver because Lando's driving angry now, and you don't want that for a driver. You know, bad attitude. You know, lust in the head. You don't want that. You don't really want that. So what McLaren needs to do these races is that, of course, Lando needs to improve on his starts. That's a really, really big issue for Lando. He's not been getting his starts all season. You know, he's either got a slow start, and if he has got a good start going into the first corner, he's always losing position going into the second corner, just like he did to Leclerc, going into that, into that fast bend after the hairpin.
Yeah.
You know, he just needs to get better. Lando needs to get better at his starts, and McLaren needs to make Lando the first driver. Of course, if Piastri is quicker as a second driver, of course, we'll have to swap over positions because you don't want to compromise Piastri. So if they both work as a team, they could probably get 1-2s. Because all Lando needs to figure out is that he needs to win races, but finish in front of Max. Because Max is not guaranteed to finish second every race or third every single race. Because that car is just up and down now, that Red Bull. Yeah. Teams have catched up. Mercedes is starting to get quicker now. Of course, Hamilton finishing above Verstappen. Verstappen couldn't even get a look in with Lewis Hamilton. So what I'm saying is that, you know, McLaren can easily get 1-2s. Not that easily because other teams will be involved as well. But they can get more chance of a 1-2 if they both work together. If Lando Norris is quicker, stay him out in front. If Piastri is quicker, swap positions. It's simple. So what won the Hamilton won with when Hamilton had the teammate Valtteri Bottas when he won all them titles, when they had that big dominance. Hamilton and Bottas both work as a team. If Hamilton's quicker, Bottas will swap over. Bottas is quicker, Hamilton will swap over. It's simple, right?
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. But what I'm saying is, we all know at the end of the day, when you've got a driver fighting for the world title, I think they've got the constructors. When you got a guy, you got two drivers. One's fighting for the title, and the other driver, basically Bottas, he's Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri's Bottas. He's not fighting for the title, and Lando Norris is Lewis Hamilton. Every team does the job. It's just the way it is. Every team does it. Ferrari done it. Ferrari does it, but they do it too late sometimes. But every team does it. And at the end of the day, right, what McLaren is doing now is the right thing. And Lando Norris is the guy who's going to win the world title. At the moment now, the Red Bull car is on rails. It's nowhere. It's probably the third or fourth fastest car. He ain't run a race for so how long? Unheard of. The car is rattled. It's finished, right? And next season, it ain't going to be that much difference because next season, the regulations don't change. It's still the same. The regulations are exactly the same. Nothing's going to change. But the only time it's ever going to change is when it goes to the new regulations in 2026. So at the end of the day, right, it is what it is. And I'm glad that Lando Norris is having a go with the world title. I'm happy because we know Lewis can't do it at the moment because he ain't got the car to do it. If the car that Lewis has got now, if Lewis would have had that car at the beginning of the season, I think it would have been a different matter. Obviously, Lewis will be fighting for the title, but it's too far back. Mercedes is too far back. There's a fight for the constructors. I reckon Ferrari could probably get in there with the constructors. Even maybe Mercedes, we never know. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I think at the moment, this season, I think I said it when it comes to the changing of the regulations, the last 2 years is always the best. Because the reason why it's the best is because the other teams catch up with the leader. Remember 2020 when Lewis Hamilton won the world title in Turkey, there was 4 or 5 races to go. Who won them remaining races? Max Verstappen and Red Bull. And they knew when the 2021 started, it was going to be a good season. And what happened in 2021? It was a good season until he's got spoiled at the end. It's going to be the same now. Max Verstappen is getting caught up now. McLaren are boom going forward. They're the fastest team. Imagine what next season is going to be like when all the other teams are going to be. Next season, there's going to be at least 4 teams with a similar car. You're going to have Ferrari, you're going to have Mercedes, you're going to have McLaren, and you're going to have Red Bull. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Just like the Vettel era, 2012 and 2013 season was absolutely amazing because all the cars were catching up, and that's what it's going to be like again. So, enough of me rambling on. Let's talk about the Grand Prix, the race day, the qualifying, everything. So the qualifying, Lando got the pole. It was just inevitable. It was going to happen. So let's go straight into the race. What you got anything about the qualifying?
No, I don't think there's really much in. I think the main part about it is qualifying 3, really.
Tell me what you think of that
then. Yeah, I think I think when Mercedes where I want to point at Lewis Hamilton. I don't know what happened to Lewis Hamilton in that qualifying. Doing so good in Q2, getting fastest lap time, and then I don't know if Mercedes turned the car down or whatever. I'm going with a turn the car down. That's just my opinion. It looks obvious because Russell hasn't beaten Hamilton in Q1 or Q2, and all of a sudden, miraculously just drops pace, and finishes 6th, which is surprising, because Hamilton was on really, really good laps, beating Russell in all Q1, Q2. Nothing against Russell, by the way. I'm just saying is that Q1, Q2, Russell's nowhere near Hamilton.
Now, I'm in practice 1. I'm going to briefly go over practice 1. In practice 1, Hamilton finished 7th in practice 1. And in practice 2, Hamilton finished 1st. So in practice 2, he was 1st. And Russell was like way down the packing order.
Exactly.
Russell was like, where was Russell, man? Where is he? I'm trying to check. Russell was 6th in practice 2. In practice 3, Hamilton was top. No, practice 3. Hamilton was top again. Russell caught up a little bit in 2nd. So by practice 3, really, Russell was starting to gain a bit of momentum. But Lewis was still in front. So qualifying. At the end of qualifying, we had Lando Norris. We got the 2nd was Piastri, and 3rd was Russell. So all of a sudden now, Hamilton you had the better of Lewis Hamilton. No, Lewis Hamilton had the better of Russell all weekend with practice and qualifying. Q1 and Q2. So he's got to qualifying 3. All of a sudden, boom, his speed just dropped. A bit similar to the last race as well in Zandvoort. Exactly the same thing. All of a sudden, Hamilton's in front. He's got all the speed, and as soon as he gets to Q3, boom, his time just drops. Is what it is. I'm not a conspiracy theory. I'm just putting it out there, and just the facts of the matter. I don't know what happened. So it is what it is. Look, so at the end of qualifying, so Lando Norris was 1, Piastri was 2, Russell was 3, 4th was Leclerc, and 5 was Sainz. They were the top 5 going into the race. Max Verstappen was 7th. Wow. Max Verstappen 7th. What do you think of that? Max Verstappen 7th in qualifying.
It's pretty obvious that that other teams are catching up.
Yeah.
Don't know if it's track dependent. But you can see that
it's not track dependent.
It's not even about track dependent. It's about that you can see the Red Bull downfall, and
I'm glad as well.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Happens to every single Formula One team. Happened to Mercedes. After that big massive domination they had a little bit of a downfall, but now they're on the up now this season. Getting a better car. So I think Mercedes is going to be really, really good in the future.
Yeah.
Of course, with Ferrari as well, getting better. You saw in Monza, Ferrari is getting a better car. So I think they're going to be all right next season as well. But Red Bull, they're on a downfall now. And look, how Verstappen was just, killing.
I'm not sure about Ferrari, because, last year Ferrari won Monza, and after that, they've never done anything.
We just got to see. With Ferrari, we've got to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm about this season now.
Yeah, this season Red Bull was, good at the beginning of the season. But now, as more teams bring more upgrades to the cars, and as they develop, new parts and bring new parts to the car to make it quicker, it's working for other teams now. Like Mercedes is on the up, Ferrari's on the up. Not really Ferrari. We've got to see what happens with Ferrari, but McLaren's on the up. And it's going to be. I think next season there's going to be lots of teams involved. But about this season, Red Bull is going to struggle to win the constructors, in my opinion, because I think Ferrari and McLaren will be up there because Ferrari, figure or not, they don't get high positions, but they don't really get much DNFs, and they're always usually finishing in that midfield area, like top 5, top 6. So Ferrari could be involved for the constructors, but it's not necessarily Red Bull's going to win the constructors. For me, I think the constructors is going to. No, I'm going to say Ferrari. I'm going to say constructors could go to Ferrari. People might disagree with me, but what I'm saying, I think Ferrari's going to win the constructors and McLaren second. If I'm wrong,
when you mean this year?
I think this season Ferrari could have a chance.
Fair enough.
Of winning the constructors. Because they've always got both drivers up there. Of course, the most option would probably be McLaren because they're always finishing up there, top 3, top 2, consistently. Of course, Piastri winning races as well. Lando Norris getting up there in the podiums. So you can also say McLaren could have a chance of winning it, but I think Ferrari could have a chance of winning it because if McLaren don't sort their stuff out, which they probably will. If they're not, they're stupid. But if McLaren don't sort their stuff out and don't get the priority straight, then they could lose points because if 2 teammates don't get on, if a teammate don't get along with the team, there's going to be carnage there. But I reckon Ferrari could win the constructors this year. It's not a guarantee that Red Bull because Perez is not isn't really putting in performance almost all season. He's not getting up there as Verstappen usually was. Because as Verstappen's winning races, getting podiums, Perez was nowhere near there. And I think I said this when I was on a podcast with Ty Cuthbert. I said there could be salvaging Perez or something like that. I still think there could be salvaging Perez. That's in my opinion. But if you take that out of account, Perez is nowhere near Max Verstappen in them standings.
Okay.
Closer to him. So Red Bull is not in a good water to win the constructors, if I put it that way. I think Ferrari could win the constructors this year, and I think they are going to win the constructors. That's in my opinion. And yeah, that's my view.
Yeah, I was looking at the constructors title, and I think McLaren's going to win it. In my opinion, and I think Ferrari could get second. There's a conversation right there because Red Bull's on 446, McLaren and Mercedes, obviously McLaren are 438. One more win by Lando, it's a wrap. They've passed them. And if Ferrari can get 2 cars up there, if Ferrari can from now to the end of the season, if Ferrari can get the 2 cars close to the top, close to the top in points, and race results, then Ferrari could definitely. There's a conversation for Ferrari as well because Ferrari's on 407. So you got 407 for Ferrari, you got McLaren 438, and you got Red Bull 446 with 8 races to go. Yeah, definitely the conversation. But I just think that McLaren's going to do it because McLaren, their 2 cars are always up there in the top 2 or top 3, and it's been like that since Silverstone. That's why I think McLaren is gonna. Because you look before Silverstone, McLaren were like 4th in the table. Look where they are now. That's the only reason why. Because some weekends Ferrari can have a stinker. They just come like 6th and 7th out of the nowhere. But with McLaren are good in every track they go to. They are always good. So I'm gonna go for. You know what? I'm gonna make a prediction now. I think that McLaren's going to be first, second's going to be Ferrari, and third's going to be Red Bull. I don't think Mercedes are in there. They're too far back. They've got 292 points, too far back. But I respect your opinion. Big up, man. You've definitely got an argument there that Ferrari could win the constructors because I didn't realize how much points that Ferrari had. Until I just looked at it now.
Yeah, they got a lot of points on the board, especially
I know you like science.
Yeah, man. Science is amazing driver.
Heavyweight, man.
Yeah, he's just, he's calm. He's he's racing. He's amazing.
He can be calm, but he can also be
a bit aggressive
as well. Yeah.
In
the car.
But there's a conversation now. I think it's going to be Ferrari first, second McLaren, and third Red Bull, and of course 4th Mercedes. And that's what I'm going for.
So we're going to go into the race now. We're going to briefly just go over the race. Remember, it was lights out, away we go. Crafty. We know that famous saying, lights out, away we go. I'll just put a bit of music on while we do this. There we go. Oh, there we go. So it was lights out of the way we go. It was a dive down the inside, really. Not the inside, but Lando had to cover off Russell in the first chicane because Russell was trying to do a swoop around the inside. And I was talking about it before the race that Russell was probably going to swoop around swoop around the outside and try and take Lando. Lando covered him off. Obviously, Oscar Piastri went out in front after that, which was a good move from Oscar Piastri, like we discussed. If you don't see if you see the gap, you go for it. That's it. And yeah, so because of that, because Russell was slightly aggressive, in my opinion, in that first corner, he was slightly aggressive. He lost a bit of his front wing. Now, when his front wing came off his car, the first thing I thought to myself is his race is over. What was you thinking? When Russell his front wing was damaged and he was racing around for a couple of laps and he had to come in for another stop so early. What was you thinking?
I'm surprised that the Stewards didn't pull him in earlier. Because
I'm still here, by the way.
Yeah. I just think that he's lucky that front end plate went off at that time before the Stewards. No, I don't think even the Stewards got to that yet. But it was good that the front end plate went off.
Yeah.
What I thought about it, we could have been more smarter. Because in that chicane, it's just pure carnage, pure crashes. I expect either 1 out of 20 drivers is going to get damage on their car
every time.
That was Russell. Because it's such a tight chicane. You're going to get some eager people. You're going to get some smart people just stay back, wait for whatever opens up. But you're of course going to get the eager people. Of course, Russell, in my opinion, a bit eager. But of course, if you see a line, why not go for it? If it don't work, it don't work.
Exactly.
But he did get damage on his car, but not that much. A front end plate, which is going to do minor to your aerodynamics. Not like your whole nose cone is broke off.
Yeah.
So he carried on. Of course, Perez on the radio saying it's dangerous. Of course, Perez wanted the stewards to pull him in because it was dangerous. And
it was dangerous though at the beginning.
The front end plate could come off, go into someone's car, helmet. The front end plate does look small from, a bird's eye view when we're watching. But, when driving, a front end plate goes in someone's car or goes in a helmet, it could be a blind spot. Anything can happen, right? When a front end plate just flies off the car, could go in someone's halo. You don't know. But, yeah, lucky enough that, the front end plate went off and everything was fine.
Yeah, 100% agree. If that comes off that front plate, and that can go into the cockpit of another car, that could cause an accident. But obviously, I think when the car drove a little bit, I think the steward should have called him in straight away because when he got when the end plate came off, I never heard no radio call, I never heard nothing. The steward should have said to the team, bring him in, safety. But I think that was a bit slow doing that. But I think after a while, he broke off, and then he came into pit and I think it was lap 12 he came in. He changed the front wing and changed the tyres. And I think by that time, I thought his race was over. So, but obviously, as the race progressed, he knew it wasn't. Lap 7, engineer said to Oscar Piastri, plan B, tyre deg is good. So automatically, when I heard that, plan B, tyre deg is good. And what's the first thing you thought? I thought one stop.
Yeah, because Ferrari made it happen. There was always a chance of a 2-stop. But what I thought about it, I thought as the tyres are good, they're going to try make the stint longer. So they may pit for the hard tyres towards the end to go for one stopper. Of course, I think they started on the hards. I think, and then went to mediums after. So they could have had a long stint on the hards, then go to medium for the end of the race. That's what I thought they'll do. Of course, they went for the 2-stopper. But the one stop was also available. But yeah, I'm going to go with you, Solo. I thought that as well. I'm going to go for one stop. Tide that's good, and go long in the hards and go for the softer combat towards the end of the race. So I thought they were going to do that, but they didn't.
Because obviously, this is why we have the practice sessions. This is why we have the practice sessions really to test that tyre deg. And the reason why the teams were really testing the tyres on this track this weekend is because Monza got resurfaced. It was the first time it got resurfaced in a long, long time. And when the other cars were going on there before, it was quite slippery, obviously, with the new surface. But by the time the new cars came, by the time the Formula One cars came, obviously they was rubbering out the track, and the track got more grippy and grippy. Because when you change the surface on the track, it completely can change the entire weekend. The team has to check the tire, the deck. They have to say, right, how many laps are we going to go? This is where the computer and the smart people come into it. So by this time, when it says they didn't realize how good the tire degradation was going to be good over the weekend after 7 laps. So when he come out and says, look, plan B was basically the one stop. So I thought that's what it was going to go for. But as the race progresses, we knew it changed. Lap 8, Tsunoda retiring. Tsunoda retired because he had that crash with Hulkenberg at the beginning of the weekend. Tsunoda crashing. Any thoughts on that? I don't. He was happy. He was all right in the car. So look, when people crash, I don't want no one to get hurt. So, but he crashed and he tried to carry on for 8 laps. Didn't work, and he had to retire his car. But I don't think Hulkenberg retired his. Just Tsunoda. So what's your thing on Tsunoda? Retiring the car.
Charlotte, to be honest, I don't really think anything. Did he collide with someone?
Yeah, Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg. The Hulk.
So, Charlotte, to be honest, I got nothing.
Over Drago.
I got no views on that.
Right.
Tsunoda.
Right. So at this point, the 2 Red Bulls were kind of sitting back. The engineer come onto Max Verstappen's radio and said, just sit back. The McLaren boys and that are pushing their tires. We'll sit back and we'll let the race come to us. When I heard that on the radio from the engineers of Red Bull, I thought, what's this smoking, man? How's the race going to come to you? What are you on about, man?
Don't work that way, I'm afraid.
It doesn't work exactly. And these are supposed to be the smart people. Lap 12, George, like I said, he came in to change his front wing. Lap 15, Lando hit the Ballard a little bit early when he came into the pits. I thought, oh my gosh, don't tell me he's damaged his car. He never damaged his car, but when he came in a little bit aggressive. I thought all of a sudden now he's going to get a penalty for either speeding in the pits or he's damaged his car somehow. But he came out unscathed. There was nothing wrong with his car. He had a decent pit. I think it was 2.5 seconds. He had a good pit stop, got out of there, and it was good. Lap 50. After that, Charles passed lap 16, the undercut. So basically, Charles pitted at lap 16, and how big the undercut is here in Monza, and he lost position to Lando because I think he was in front of Lando when he came into when Lando went into the pits. Charles was in front of Lando, but when Charles pitted at lap 16, the undercut worked for McLaren. So, what was your thoughts on that?
The undercut for McLaren.
Yeah, because at lap 16, when Charles pitted, he was in front of Lando, but when he come out the pits, he wasn't. So the undercut worked for McLaren.
Because Leclerc, I memorised now that Leclerc was on the radio saying, "Why did you pick me for going for an undercut?" Which was a horrible decision from Ferrari. Of course, to pay out for him in the end, but they could have done the undercut perfectly. But again, Ferrari did a mislead, and McLaren didn't really have to do anything. Not just make sure the pit stops are all good. Make sure the pit stop quick and you come out ahead, because Ferrari made a mistake not making undercut work.
Yeah,
and the pitted Leclerc when they didn't need to. They could have waited for a lap after, made do the undercut from there or the overcut, whatever. Because the undercut's really, really powerful at Monza, and you can utilise it to your advantage. Called McLaren utilised it. Leclerc, I think Ferrari had a mislead, and they didn't really utilise it correctly. But of course, McLaren made the undercut work. Allowing Piastri to get up there, allowing Norris to get up there in podium position. At the end of the day, 2 McLaren finishing podium positions, man. That's really, really good point for the constructors. That's all McLaren has to worry about. Of course, the driver's title they got to worry about as well with Lando. But, undercut now. I think they made it well. And, made a 2-stop
You think that's what triggered it? There's 2 things I think what triggered that one stop. Do you think it was the aggressive start from McLaren that kind of wore the tires out a little bit, and the fact that when they pitted Charles and Charles came out behind Lando and said obviously on the radio, "Why did you pick me? Why did you pick me?" Do you think because of those 2 scenarios, you think that's what triggered Ferrari to do a 1-stop? Because if I was a team principal and I saw my rivals burn their tires out in the first stint so quick. Yeah, burn them out. And then we come into the pits and then we come behind them and we get done on the undercut. I'm probably thinking to myself, you know what? Let's try something different. Let's try for a one stop because they must have saw their tire degradation on the computer, the Ferraris, and so you know what? Our tires are looking good because I'm sure science said I think we should stay out a bit longer. It's still good, and I think that's what triggered the one stop. I think if it wasn't for McLaren speeding, yeah, I'm on about when I say speeding, you know, the first stint. And burning their tires out because I thought they brought Lando in too early. I did. I thought I think he came in too early, and I think that's what triggered the Ferrari brain. You know what? We're going to do a one stop. We're going to do this. What's your opinion on it? I think that's what triggered it. You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon as well because when Piastri was on his stint, he was putting in fastest lap. Yeah. And I'm thinking Piastri's burning out his tires, man.
Yeah.
No, he's keeping burning out his tires. And then, you know, Ferrari wasn't really going fast lap, just trying to preserve their tyres, which, you know, a huge advantage for Ferrari. And as you're behind the leaders, you get a free look at what they're doing and what strategy they get to do. This is why the one stop worked for Ferrari. So, McLaren, I think, should have held it down a bit. Of course, they were pushing it first lap. Of course, everyone pushing it first. The first lap doesn't really count. But they were putting in fastest laps. They were pushing and pushing. Yeah, I think McLaren, the reason why they were pushing, because they didn't have a one-stopping plan. They never expected the one-stop. So they're going to go pit first time, go all out. You know, push. And the second...
they were... I don't think they was expecting Lando to come in so early. And they wasn't expecting Lando to burn his tyres out so quick. Yeah. Because when Lando first came in on lap 15, and then he came in again on lap 32. And with the Charles Leclerc, Charles only pitted the once, obviously, and he pitted the once and he let them tyres last. Because it can be done. Because Russell done it in Spa. Even though he had the race taken away from him, if the computer look, you can defy the rules. Because if they're saying it's a one stop. Now, if people are saying it's a two-stop, it is possible to do it on a one-stop. It's the way you look after your tyres. It all depends on the balance of the car as well. Certain cars can burn tyres out quicker than others because it's the way the car balances. It all depends on little things. So it is what it is. Oscar Piastri pitted on lap 17 and came out in front of Lando. At this point, I thought by then, I think that I think that McLaren should have said after that, Lando should go in front, in my opinion. I was waiting for the radio call. It never came. I was thinking, what are you doing, McLaren? Do you just want to win the Constructors or do you want to win a double? If you want to win the double, you make Lando go in front, and that radio call never come. Lap 23, Max Verstappen came in, 6.2 seconds, put the medium tires on. But at that point, you probably know he's going to go for a two-stop. Lap 32, Norris came in and put the hard tires on. That was his second stint. And after that, the race just continued and there was no pitting from Ferrari. They stayed out. Charles Leclerc was in front by then. Oscar Piastri was chasing Charles Leclerc and the two Ferraris. I think he passed Sainz. Sainz had no tyres left. And I think Lando passed Sainz as well. So it was all about Charles Leclerc, Piastri, and Norris. And there still was no team message saying, you know what, you look, Lando's gonna be second. There was nothing. It was just quiet. And at the end of the race, when Charles Leclerc won, you saw the body language between the two McLaren drivers, and Lando was not happy. I saw pictures of the press conference where they was waiting for Charles to come, and they weren't even talking to each other. They just had their heads down. And in my opinion, McLaren caused that situation. This could have been avoided. But they chose to say, "Yup, you can race each other." And I was thinking, what are you doing? So, what is your final thoughts on the race?
Overall, I don't think I enjoyed the race that much. I don't think there was much action. Yeah. I think there was a lot of action in the strategic part. You know, Ferrari putting out that great strategy. But if I was going to rate the race out of 10, I'll rate a 4 maybe. It's not. I think there's a lot of strategy involved, which I like. I know strategy can get crazy.
Yeah, we'll do the strategy more on the debrief.
Yeah. The
I'm
overall race.
sorry, Toto. I'm gonna try. You know the debrief when we used to do it for 10 minutes. I'm gonna try and put it down to 8 minutes because I want it shorter.
Yeah.
Fun.
So yeah, the race weren't really enjoyable. Race weren't really a race where you get up out your sofa and you start celebrating. Or I'm glad that Leclerc won the race. But again, I wanted Lance to get up there as well. I just don't want Max to run away with the title. I don't think he's going to run away with the title anyway.
No.
He's going to lose a lot of points. So Lando gained 8 points on Max today, which is actually not today.
I think it was 9. I think it was 10.
Nah, 9 points because you got the
You got
fastest lap.
fastest lap as well. Oh
8 points
okay.
and 9 points. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gained 9 points on Verstappen, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the race weren't that good in my opinion. So I'll give it a 4 out of 10 for me.
4 out of 10 for the rate. I don't know. I think I might give it a 6. I thought it was a 6 out of 10. People always tend to say Monza's a brilliant track to drive, but lately it has been boring races. Monza. The last good one was Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen when I was battling each other. I thought the race was okay. I thought it was about 6 out of 10. But yeah, we move. So 2 more weeks now. The next one is going to be in Baku, and usually Baku, we always get Baku usually in May, but this year it's in September, which is weird. Never been in September before Baku, but we move. So that'll be in 2 weeks' time. I think that's going to suit the McLaren because the McLaren's very good in the corners. So I think that track is tailor-made for the McLaren. The Baku track is tailor-made. So it is what it is. So I'm going to be signing out, guys. Thanks for the people who's in the comment section. I saw the views as well. Big up. Smash the likes. There you go. I always put it up at the end of the video. It should have been there at the beginning. Anyway, smash the likes. Big up to everybody and have a good evening. Enjoy your whatever you're watching or whatever you're yamming. Enjoy your weekend. Big up to everybody. See you later, Toto. Probably see you tomorrow or Wednesday for the debrief.
Yeah.
And Thursday, I think tomorrow's a debrief. Wednesday there's nothing, and Thursday is the Premier League preview. We just basically it's a show that me and Jordan's done that we just basically guess the scores. It's a 10-minute video. We just guess the scores, know what the scores are going to be, and that's it.
Yeah.
So big up to everybody. See you later. Co-owner of the channel, Toto Hammer, me, Solo P1. Keep it sports. Smack the like button and do your job.
Big up, man.
Boom.